They had to ban you, otherwise you would never taken a day off. This is true. Thank you. Shouts out to Twitch for giving me a forcible day off because I was not taking that day off. Anyway, so on Saturday, you guys might have noticed, on Saturday night, I started my broadcast. It was supposed to be a fun day, a Saturday fun day, right? And I ended the broadcast with a video game. I played a video game, a browser game. Okay? I played a browser game called Zionist or Nazi. Here it is. This is if you want to see it. It's the hardest game I've ever played. It's on my YouTube if you want to go take a look at it. And right after that game was over, I embarrassingly ended the broadcast in disgrace because, like, it was just too goddamn hard. It was too goddamn hard for me. It was too goddamn hard for me. And I was embarrassed. I ended the broadcast. And then something weird happened. I was in the other room and I heard my computer start playing some audio of like a tab that I had left open. Sometimes it happens randomly. Twitter will randomly restart the audio, and the dog started barking, and I ran over to the PC to turn off this tab, and I realized I had been logged out of all of my accounts. Lo and behold, I was banned. And it was shocking because normally there are signs, you know what I mean? Normally when I do something that's like ban worthy or something that's like even teetering on the edges of a ban, or when people like get really mad about something and it starts going viral on Twitter and then there's like a lot of public pressure, usually that's how it goes. Like that's the previous pattern, right? I say something, people clip it, gets posted on LSF or it gets posted on Twitter. And then it turns into like a much larger ordeal, and then Twitch has to react to it. Twitch has to react to it in a way where it's like, in a way where they just obviously won't stand aside and defend me. So I didn't even know what the reason was this time because it was shocking. Like it was like weird. I was like, what is going on? What's up with this ban? Well, it turns out it was because I had read the manifesto of Elias Gonzalez, the shooter of the Israeli embassy, right? The Israeli embassy staffers that were shot and killed by Elias Gonzalez. I read his manifesto. Now, I always read the manifestos of shooters. What I do by trade, what I do by profession, is literally to go through common points of misinformation, both coming from mainstream media and both coming from, psychotic right-wingers and whatnot in the aftermath of any sort of shooting that takes place. And I do this all the time. Like, obviously, I don't cover breaking news, but my job is to look at all of the narratives that are out there and go through them and critically examine them and try to figure out what the truth is. And that's precisely what I was doing. Part of the reason why I read the manifesto was because there was people entertaining the notion that it was potentially a false flag attack. And I wanted to see if there was any veracity to these claims. And I read the manifesto, as I've done time and time again. And by the way, I detailed all this stuff that I'm basically relitigating here on my last YouTube video. If you haven't watched it, you should. But I guess that was a bannable offense. I hope that they change this policy because I think it's a really bad policy. Like, I think that the policy of like, oh, you can't look at a manifesto, because there's a couple different things that they literally have verbatim as a policy that I am always annoyed by. One of them is like there is like any kind of disseminated information that they consider to be like terrorism will get you dinged up, even if it's perfectly fine. Even if it's perfectly fine on Twitter, even if it's perfectly fine on YouTube, like Twitch has a way more rigorous application of terms of service, and they will actually punish you for it, which I think is silly. They changed it because of you the first time when people wanted your head for the Houthi video. No, that was always in existence. I think that shouldn't be the case. Like, I think I should be able to watch those types of videos. I have watched those types of videos over and over again. I think it's like really stupid. Having said that, you know, the concept of terrorism in and of itself is already arbitrary, and there's plenty of academic back and forth on this process. It's just like having the platform engage in this like arbitrary designation, depending on what the State Department has decided is like terrorism, is silly. I got banned specifically because I covered the motives of the Israeli embassy staff shooter, which apparently, according to Twitch terms of service, dictates a suspension, even if I critically examined the manifesto, which is precisely what I did. And the reason why I had critically examined the manifesto of the Israeli embassy staff shooter was because there was a lot of misinformation taking place, as is the case usually online whenever there's a breaking news story. This is what I do. A big part of what I do is holding people's hands through the news media process by allowing them to think critically and helping them understand media literacy. I got temporarily suspended because this is a part of the Twitch terms of service. You are not allowed, as it dictates right here in front of me, to even show a violent extremist manifesto on stream while denouncing it. This, I think, is not good for news and press freedom. And I said on Twitter, I'll take the suspension, but I hope Twitch changes its policy in the future. And I do believe they might. The ADL, Apartheid Defamation League's very own Jonathan Greenblatt, went on CNN only hours after the shooting had taken place to make incredibly slanderous statements about me, stating that I was responsible for this. My rhetoric was responsible for this. Let's take a look.
All of us need to call it out. I'm thinking about the New York Times.
Isn't showing this video reoffending? No, I'm not literally going through the entire manifesto. Calm down.
Doing a gauzy profile a few weeks ago of this gamer, Hasan Piker, who regularly employs awful genocidal rhetoric against Jewish people in the Jewish state.
This is slander through and through. I do not apply awful genocidal language towards Jewish people. I don't believe that even a genocide that the Israeli government is doing justifies a genocide to the Israeli government or the Israeli people. I am not the one who is defending a genocidal state here. Jonathan Greenblatt is. Having said that, this slander continued with no pushback from the CNN anchor, which I think is rather strange.
Extremists should not be empowered. People who spout prejudice, this is a moment when we need to look ourselves in the mirror and say, we've got to stop this because the consequences are deadly.
Here, Jonathan Greenblatt was making an implication that my rhetoric was responsible for this Israeli embassy staffer shooter going out and finding Israeli embassy staffers and shooting them. This is ridiculous. There is no connection between me and the shooter. The shooter actually followed a bunch of people. I was not one of them on Twitter. He was not following me. What the do you mean? He was, however, following a bunch of, he was following Joe Weisenthal, you know what I mean? To Jonathan Greenblatt's statement, I replied with, Israel is an apartheid state doing a live stream genocide. I think it's wrong and dangerous to conflate these heinous actions with Jews and Judaism. The Apartheid Defense League doesn't because they think they can improve Israel's standing by silencing its critics. It, however, will not change the truth.